Working for you. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for You is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for You.
A pleasant good day, radio listeners and all our viewers online. Welcome to another edition of Working for You. Today I'm joined by a power team representing the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. We have with us the Public Relations Manager, Mr. Sadjo Ngala, Ms. Charlene Welcome, the Community Tourism Officer, and Mr. Alistair Williams, the Executive Director of Events. Now we're going to be speaking about a wide range of developments taking place in the tourism sector, particularly the cruise tourism sector, which, if you have been paying attention to what's going on in the news, cruise tourism in St. Kitts is booming right now. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a packed show for you today, and stay with us. So Mr. Ngala, cruise tourism in St. Kitts. We heard from the Minister of Tourism at a recent forum, I think it was the Prime Minister's press conference, that cruise tourism in St. Kitts is on another plateau. We are up there in the top 5 in a number of categories. So my first question to you is, why is this all happening? Why is cruise tourism in St. Kitts Nevis taken off so over recent years?
Okay, well, Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for having us here. The year 2018 has been a historical year when it comes to cruise tourism in St. Kitts. And before I even say why we're here, let me just mention some of our big wins. And the biggest one recently announced in Puerto Rico at the Florida Cruise Association conference is that St. Kitts, when it comes to average cruise passenger spend, is third in the Caribbean. That's big. I mean, we're talking about bigger islands like Trinidad, St. Martin, Barbados, all those islands, and we have one of the highest spend per visitor in St. Kitts. Our spend right now, average cruise passenger, is at US $135.94. That is big because this research is done pretty much every 3 years, and the last time it was done was in 2015. At that time we were 8th, we are now 3rd. That was the biggest jump from all the other islands. Wow. And that was huge. Also of importance is that when it comes to crew expenditure, that also went up. In 2015, the average spend per crew member, and most people don't realize this, these cruise ships, when they come with a lot of crew, sometimes up to 1,000. And so we try to market to them, we try to encourage them to come off the ship and spend their money. And that strategy is indeed working, because in 2015, they spent 41 US per crew member. In 2018 now, it's up $53.72 per crew member, and that's US. The total crew expenditure in 2018 is $8 million US. That is huge. So again, 2018 has been a really, really good year. We crossed the million passenger mark this year in July. We are now a marquee port. That means that we are able to offer the type of service that caters to quite a lot of people.
So basically for you guys, it's not just about marketing for the passengers. You guys also market for crew members as well.
Of course, crew members, they come here regularly. So most of them know their spots. They know where to go to get their beers and their drinks. They know where to go to eat. They know where the Wi-Fi spots are. And so we do special marketing for them. And the reports that we get back from them is that I think it's a wonderful place. Nice. And we try to let our stakeholders know, happy customers, happy crew members, happy tourists will spend their money. Nobody wants to leave somebody unhappy. So when they're happy, they spend. And that's part of our training to get more tourists here and to get them spending even more money.
Okay, so I was just about to ask you, of course, these numbers are wonderful, but are the man in the street, the taxi operators, the hair braiders, the primate vendors, I think that you guys refer to them, are they feeling this impact from these numbers, from these spending? Is it being trickled down to them?
Well, I should be asking you that, because to me, if you look around the country, I mean, the construction, the thing about tourism is that it affects every other industry. And tourism right now is driving the economy. If tourism was not doing good, believe me, you would know. Because from tourism, the taxi man, the hair vendors and so forth, they put their money in the bank, they buy groceries, they send their kids to school. You see how the money is trickling throughout the economy. And really and truly, yes, people are doing well. And we believe it can be better because, customer service is key. And, during the summer month, we do a number of training. And the main training is raising the standard of the customer service. And Mr. Johnson, 80% of customer service is smiling. That's
great.
80%.
That's great.
And we try hard to encourage our stakeholders to smile. If you smile, that's 80%. And most likely, when the tourist leaves you, he's going to leave a tip. And the tip can range from 40 US, 50 US. I've seen a taxi man walking with $100 tip.
Wow.
And that's on top of the fare that he got. So customer service is key, and we're pushing that.
But what about, you mentioned the stakeholders. What about me, you, the ordinary man in the street? Do we play a role in that as well?
You do, because, everybody has a role to play in tourism. Tourism is me, tourism is you, tourism is all of us. And we teach that in the schools, and I think Charlene will get to more of that later on. But tourism is an industry that pretty much every resident on the island plays a role. When you see a tourist walking down the street, smile, say hello, say good afternoon, say good morning. Just being courteous, being patient on the road. Because yes, there's taxis on the road, there are tourists walking up and down, sometimes they need a little help. So we all play a role. The big one for me, and it's one of the Minister Grant peeve, is that keep the country clean.
Yes.
You go to the beach, take back what you bring. You go to the hike, even if you see garbage, pick it up, because that's one less garbage there for the Ministry of Health to worry about. So, but yes, everybody has a role to play when it comes to our tourism product.
Now, Miss Welcome, as Sadu just mentioned, a part of the education of tourism is that you guys are taking it to the schools, to the children, the next generation, if you will. What is being done to encourage our young people, our school leavers, to advise them, to let them know that there is a viable career in tourism? Tourism plays a very critical role in our economic development. What is being done on that front?
Good afternoon. The ministry has initiated the Tourism Education Awareness Program, which is really a relationship that is being built between tourism and education. We go out to the schools, and the tourism education program is basically to entice the children as to the tourism industry, the benefits of the tourism industry, the role that they play as students now in the tourism industry. It gives them a better understanding of what the industry has to offer, the careers that it also has to offer, etc. So we do theory classes, experience classes, and practical sessions with them. The theory classes, we go into the classrooms and we teach about tourism. We also have stakeholders who would come to the classrooms and give brief demonstrations as to their jobs and how they also play a role in the tourism industry. We also allow the students to experience tourism. We take them out into the tourism industry, so they get a first hand of the tourism product itself. And the practical part is the etiquette sessions, where we have stakeholders who join with us, and we teach the children about etiquette sessions, right? How to use knife and fork, good behavior and manners when dining out. And sometimes they actually mix in between tourists, so they would actually get a better understanding of how they actually should behave while dining out. We have presently 6 schools in the program, which has upgraded over the past 3 years. We had 4 initially, and now we have 6. 4 primary schools, which is Tyrrell Williams Primary, Tucker Clark Primary, Sandy Point Primary, Dr. William Connor Primary, and also AVEC is a part of it, and the Bastia High Schools.
Nice. Question: how are the students gravitating to this knowledge? How excited are they about learning about tourism?
The thing about it is, good news travel fast. Because we would have had 2 sets of classes before. Our first set of students are now in first form. Second set is in grade 6. And so each time we go to the classes, beginning of school term, the students already know what is coming in terms of the classroom sessions, the practical sessions. So hands-on, we get full participation from not only the students but also the teachers. All anticipate going through the tourism education program.
That's very good to hear that you guys are incorporating the young ones into it. Now let's switch it up let's go to Mr. Williams. I'm pretty sure most, if not everyone out there, know by now that November each year is observed in St. Kitts and Nevis and I think elsewhere as Tourism Awareness Month. Now, I know it's a tradition for us here that there's a month of activities that you guys organize. Can you tell us a bit about this, some information on the month of observation?
Okay, good afternoon to all our listeners on radio and of course those in on the internet, listening on the internet and viewing on TV. Yes, this is Tourism Awareness Month, but I want to say first of all that tourism awareness is a year-round activity, but just that during the month of November, we set aside that month where we can collaborate with our stakeholders to heighten awareness about tourism and its impact on the economy, and also how all of us have a role to play with respect to tourism and its development. We've heard earlier on about the many accolades that we have received as a destination. We've heard about the visitor spend, the cruise visitor spend that is. I know several surveys have been done and the visitors speak so much about the destination, very highly about the destination, very highly about our taxi drivers, our all of our workers within the industry and so on. We have received great marks, we've received many accolades, but the thing is, we cannot just sit back and relax. It is a work in progress, and so we must improve in order to take tourism to another level. And that is what Tourism Awareness Month is about. It's about reaching out to the public in general so that they can know where we are as a destination as far as tourism is concerned, and where we can go and how they can play a part in getting us to that next level. So the month really is about using several activities to heighten awareness about tourism in general and the impact it has on not only the individual but the country as a whole, bearing in mind that tourism is responsible for about 25% of the nation's workforce, and its contribution to the GDP is about 26%. So those are high numbers, and so we must do everything we can to preserve and to protect the industry. This year, we have chosen as our theme, reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's work together for a greener future. And basically what we are saying is that collectively, we all have a part to play in order to make tourism viable, and not only viable, but in order to sustain it so that future generations can also benefit from all that tourism has to offer. And sometimes when we speak about tourism, people tend to think just about the visitors.
True.
And we often forget ourselves because we need to understand that we first must understand the industry. We first must protect it, and we have the most to lose if we don't, because our children and our children must be able to benefit from tourism and at the same time to reap some rewards from the industry. And so we want people to get into the mode of understanding that it's not just about the visitors. Yes, the visitors are important, but at the end of the day, we too must practice, sustainable living in order for future generations to be able to enjoy what we have today. And so, there are some simple things that we are asking folks to bear in mind as we celebrate Tourism Awareness Month. But some of the activities that we have chosen to do, like for instance, this afternoon, we have what we call Soca Zumba, and that is with Elston, and Elston is well known in those fitness programs and so on. And that activity this afternoon will be at Port Zante, and it starts around 4:30, and we're asking for a small contribution of $15, and that contribution is going towards what we call the Heart of St. Kitts Foundation.
Okay.
The foundation has been around since 2016, and the whole mission of the foundation is to do some of the same thing that I've been talking about, and that is to build awareness around sustainability priorities in relation to St. Kitts and tourism, and to help to fund projects that would help to get us to that place and to make St. Kitts a better place for not only residents but visitors. So Soca Zumba is this afternoon at 4:30 on Port Zante. Tomorrow evening we have our karaoke competition down at the Sangria Bar at the Village Walk. Some persons refer to it as the Rams Food Court in Camps or Buckley's, some people say, but I think it's really Camps. So at 8 o'clock tomorrow we have our karaoke competition, and we want folks to come out and sing to win. A lot of exciting prizes, cash, as well as hotel stays, dinners, and different prizes that one can win by participating. There are also categories for juniors, 13 and under, male and female, as well as best male, best female, and overall winner. So there's a wide range of categories and prizes that one can win tomorrow at the food court. On Saturday, we partner with the National Carnival Committee, Sugar Mass, on the island-wide bar crawl. We want to take tourism around the country, so we are teaming up with them this time around for the second time, and that event starts at 12 o'clock from Port Zante in the Rams vicinity. There's also the St. Kitts Yacht Club 5th Annual Peninsula Swim, that is also on Saturday, and we want folks to also, those of us who are very much into swimming, to participate in that event. I understand it's normally a keenly contested event and an exciting one, so we'd want folks to go out and support that initiative. We also have a photo competition that has been launched some time ago, and it's ongoing, and we are hoping on the 30th of November to have the prize given for that one as well. Previously, we would have had beach cleanups, community outreach programs. We would have gone to church, and we would have had a fitness heritage walk to Sofa Stone. That one was very exciting. We had talks in schools and several workshops, because as Sergio indicated, we cannot just relax now just because we have received many accolades, just because we are doing well as far as schools is concerned and so on. We have to make sure we can move to the next level, because tourism is a very competitive industry, and so we have to make sure we are ahead of the game, and so we have to continue. Training is continuous in order for us to be able to survive and of course to move to the next level.
I'm glad you mentioned training. I think that has been a very important area for you guys at the authority. How is that process been going? Who do you guys target during most of these training sessions?
Well, we try to do it during the summer, and usually that is the slow period, the tourist month. And the main target right now are the frontline workers. And when I say the frontline workers, those are the people who have direct contact with the tourists, the waitress, the receptionist, the taxi operators. And right now, we're concentrating on customer service, but we also offer other areas. For example, understanding tourism, caring for your primate, and by that I mean the monkey. So we do offer those type of training because, well, a happy monkey is a behaved monkey. Also, conflict identification and management, time management, those are the things that we offer in training. We have trained aloe vendors, we have trained servers, bartenders, we have trained hair braiders, and we'll continue this every month to train them and to raise the standard of service that we offer to our guests.
Nice, that's very nice to hear, particularly for our taxi operators. I have personally heard complaints that taxi operators will speed around the island in an attempt to get back in the basket or get another trip. So are stuff like these reinforced with these operators during this training stuff to make sure they give the passengers or tourists the fullest experience as possible?
I'm glad you mentioned taxi operator because they are extremely important to our tourist product, and that is why I think it's every 2 years we offer a refresher course. They have to come and do a refresher course where we go through all of these things. We also, of course, as I mentioned, deal with conflict management because there's always some sort of problem. And we try to impress on them that, a happy tourist, a content tourist, a satisfied tourist will only lead to more business down the line. And so it is continuous, and they themselves do get a focused training to get them up to par. And all of this because we are heading towards being a high-end tourist destination. We do not, we don't really consider ourselves, a destination for the masses. This is a destination where we don't want you to come to the sand and just flop and that's it. We want you to go to the mountains, we want you to go to the restaurants, we want you to really immerse yourself in our heritage and our culture. So we target the discerning visitor, those with high spend, those who are willing to really come and go all out. That's one of the reasons why we don't have all-inclusive hotels here. We want you to go out and get the money out throughout the economy.
Just to add to, on a scale of 1 to 10, our taxi operators, they were rated, I think, 8.6. As far as many of our cruisers were concerned. So that is a very high rating for our taxi operators, and because they felt that they were very knowledgeable about the product and very helpful as guides and so on. So it speaks well. Of course, you'll always have that one odd
Of course.
number, but they did very well as far as the rating is concerned.
And just to get back to that, this year, between June and July, we trained 120 frontline tourist workers. And then just an additional 194 taxi operators also got retrained, or as we call it, a refresher. So the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, along with the Ministry of Tourism, we do look at that closely. And as Alistair said, our providers, not just taxi operators, all of them, we do get high ratings because naturally we are friendly people and we smile very easily. Everybody's smiling us right here. So that is really a good thing for us here.
So question is, what are you guys going to do? What are you guys doing to ensure that we not only maintain this momentum but increase it? As we mentioned earlier, we welcomed our millionth cruise passenger this year. How do we ensure that we not only receive 1 million, but we continue to go?
Well, for 2018 has been a really good year when it comes to cruise tourism. We've had a lot of wins. The spend has gone up, the number of ships have gone up, the number of visitors have gone up. We've had a historic year. And to your question, just want to read a quote here from the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsey Grant. He did an interview last week. And I think it speaks to your question, because when I heard him speak that, I went to get that audio and I got that quote. And I'm quoting the minister here. In the highly competitive Caribbean cruise marketplace, exceeding the million passenger mark for the first time is a highly significant achievement that is a direct result of our successful marketing strategy. Having reached this benchmark, St. Kitts is now considered by the cruise lines to be in the same elite port status as much of the larger destinations in the region. Cruise passengers clearly enjoy our diverse range of activities and friendly and welcoming people, and we are working hard to ensure that we keep the ships and their guests returning to our shores. Now, the key to that too really, of course, is making sure that the youths who are coming up are ready for tourism. And this is really a nice transition to me to move over to Charlene, because she can speak more about what we've done to get the youth ready when we look at the tourism quiz, when we look at the tours and so forth, but she'll speak more to that. Maybe
yes,
right now.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think sometime this week we had a prize giving ceremony for a young lady who might have placed in an FCCA competition. Can you shed some light on this?
Okay, the FCCA competition, the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, has an essay and poster competition every year, and each year students from all of our schools, primary and secondary alike, are welcome to put their literacy and virtual art skills to test by entering these competitions. This year, for the essay competitions, the students were to provide a 500-word essay under the topic, what cultural aspect of my country should cruise passengers experience? And for the poster competition, the topic for the drawing was weathering the storm, disaster preparedness for my destination. Now we had the winners for each category, which is divided in junior and senior. Junior is 12 and under, senior is 13 to 16. Those are the two categories for both the essay and the poster competitions. The winners for each category would receive US dollar prizes. First place of $3,000, second place $1,500, and the third place would be $1,000. And the school also wins because they would get the matching figure of whatever that person actually won. So if we had a first place winner and they got US $3,000, then the school would also get $3,000 US, right? So this year we did not have a poster winner. However, we had two participants who were selected as finalists from St. Kitts, Mr. Lequan Percival and Miss Anique Ward, both from the Charles E. Mills Secondary School. And just for being finalists chosen from St. Kitts, they were awarded US $250, even though they did not win in the place in the competition. And for the essay, we had Miss Ajanelle Brown of Immaculate Conception Catholic School. She placed third regionally and was awarded US $1,000, which meant that her school would have received US $1,000 as well. We had Mr. Chauvin King. Although he did not place, he was also awarded US $250 as being a finalist from St. Kitts.
Wow. So all those students out there listening, it actually literally pays to know about St. Kitts tourism product.
Yes, it's a win-win situation for both school and the participants.
Great. I also understand that there's a primary school quiz related to tourism.
Oh yes, our primary school quiz, which stems from the tourism education program. We were lucky to entice a sponsor, CIBC, this year, CIBC First Caribbean Bank. They would have sponsored monetary awards as well as all the trophies. This is actually our first quiz under CIBC sponsorship, and we should have had 4 schools, the 4 primary schools that were in the tourism education awareness program. However, we had 3 schools this year: Sandy Point Primary, Tucker Clark Primary, and Dr. William Connor Primary. We had Tucker Clark Primary amassing the champions this year, and Sandy Point followed as first runners-up, and Dr. William Connor was second runner-up. It was very competitive because, as I've said before, that the children are all enthused about the tourism education program. So what we've done is to use students who would have passed through the tourism education awareness program from the last term, who would now be in grade 6. So we are basically prepping our grade 5 students for next year when they would enter as grade 6 students, right? Because they would have already completed the program. And each student, the winning students received $350 each. We had 2 participants per school, so that was $700 that was given to that school, the students of that school. We also had a winning amount of $500 awarded to the school, right, the winning school, and the school that placed first runner-up received $350.
Great. You're listening to Working For You, and we are talking about tourism, cruise tourism, what's being done in tourism, and how we can all be a part of improving or promoting our tourism product. And on that note, I get back to Mr. Williams. You mentioned that a part of the movement is to get everyone to understand that they play a role in our tourism, the growth of our tourism product. I think one of the initiatives of the authority, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, is the promotion of a plastic-free St. Kitts and Nevis. Can you tell us about this and how it actually promotes our tourism product here?
Okay. Well, plastic-free is actually falls under what we call the SDC, and of which the Ministry of Tourism as a representative. Basically, it's an initiative that we started some time ago, and we intensify efforts this year. And one of the things we are trying to do, and it all blends into our theme for this year, because basically what we are promoting is the use of reusable containers, reusable items in order to reduce waste. Things such as reusable bags, reusable bottles or containers. It's simple things like having them in the office so that you eliminate the many plastic bottles that one would have to buy with water. You just have a large water container and everyone can use from it using their own cup or glass or what have you. But we want members of the public to understand that it's not just about trying to eliminate waste and to encourage persons reusing items and so on. We have to look at the bigger picture, and that is that many of these plastic and so on end up in the ocean, and they threaten the wildlife, and eventually it's coming back to us, because research have shown that even some of the fish that we eat tend to eat a lot of this plastic, and we eventually have to eat the fish and whatnot and so on. So we are actually threatening our own health. Apart from that, the landfill is practically at its peak, and so we really have to do something about that. And the only way we can really tackle that issue is for us as a nation to consider eliminating or reducing the use of so much plastics. So plastic free July, and we set aside July, and we encourage shops, supermarket, and individuals to limit the use of plastic. We know it's not going to happen overnight, but it's a work in progress, and we are hoping that over time, eventually, folks would stop, using so much plastic. When they go to the supermarket, they would walk with their own bags. And many of the supermarkets, they sell reusable bags, so we're encouraging them to buy reusable bags and take it to the supermarket. I remember as a child growing up, when you went to the shop to buy sugar or flour or rice, you often took a paper bag with you and so on. Sometimes you got a discount because you walk with your own bag. When you go to buy bread, you had a towel or a bag that you know. So we want folks to get back to that time when we used to do those things. I think back then, I don't think we knew exactly what we were doing. I mean, it was just a tradition, it was handed down and so on, but now we realize that, boy, it was one of the best things we could have done. I remember when we had soda came, it was reusable bottles, because, you have to take back the bottles to the brewery and the soda factory and so on. But then, somewhere along the line, we got Americanized, as we like to say. And people don't want to buy the local drinks and so on in those bottles, and so they want to buy the imported stuff and so on. But what we don't realize is that all of this is what is contributing to the depletion of the ozone layer and whatnot and so on. So we have to be mindful of these things. But there's some simple things that we can do ourselves to help to reduce a lot of waste and to save energy and that sort of thing. Those of us who have ACs, we can think about opening the windows more often and having the natural breeze as opposed to the AC. Carpooling, using public transportation, and even at our office, we try to many of our events that we try to do it at locations that sometimes are in close proximity to where the majority of persons may be coming from, in order to encourage folks to walk or at the same time to carpool also. That would help to lessen the amount of CO2 that is in the environment and so on.
Another idea too is perhaps when you go to buy your food, walk with your own container.
That's right.
I've done it a number of times. In fact, I find I get more food when I walk with a big container than what they'll usually give me using the styrofoam and so forth, which is extremely wasteful.
Right. So we are encouraging nationals to start thinking about how we can, in our little way, help to save the environment and preserve our cultural patrimony and so on. And I guess simple things: lock off lights when you come out of the room, use energy saving devices, simple things like that. Unplug in your electricity, and guess what? It also saves your money as well, because sometimes we don't realize that when we keep these electrical items plugged in, they're actually still burning electricity, even though we're not actually watching the television or doing some of those things. Still, I understand from a workshop we had just recently that the cable boxes, for instance, as simple as it looks, we sometimes just figure it's just a cable box, and so just by having it plugged in, even though we're not watching television, that's about $30 a month in electricity. Wow. So these, even though we are looking at from the angle of the environment and the protection and preservation of the environment and that sort of thing, it is also a way of saving money. And I think that is part and parcel of what the theme is all about. When we say let's work together for a greener future, it's not just about the environment, it's also about the economics of it. Greener meaning money as well. So we are looking and saying that, listen, by these simple things, you can save yourself some money, as well as helping to preserve what we have as a people, and so that our visitors and even we ourselves can enjoy our surroundings, and we can get a lot more of those accolades, and at the same time maybe even increase the visitor spend. And ultimately that is what we are looking for. We are looking for an increase in visitor spend, And the only way we can do that is if the experience is really outstanding. And I think a lot of travelers nowadays, they are looking for great experiences. And, we have social media. A lot of our young people, they're well traveled. And so they have been exposed to a lot of things. And so we must be able to separate ourselves from the other destination. And the only way we can do that if we really look around and see what are some of the things we can do to make sure that we keep St. Kitts pristine so that our visitors will want to come back again and again.
And Kaloni, if I may, I'm sorry, to continue with what Mr. Williams was saying, we do have a photo competition that is happening right now, and the rule really is take any picture that highlights the scene. Let's reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's work together for a greener future. So a picture could be, and this is just an idea, but just to get people thinking. A picture could be someone, taking out the trash. That's very simple. But again, it is reduce, reuse, recycle, make a photograph. Any photograph highlighting that scene. We got laptops, we got phones, we got cameras, we got all type of prizes to give out. And anyone can enter, from primary school to secondary, because we're going to have different categories. So we're going to have maybe 3 or 5 winners. Primary level, secondary, and of course adults. So we encourage people to enter, and it's very simple. All you gotta do is take a picture, upload it onto Facebook, and hashtag it St. Kitts Clean. So you can upload that picture on your own Facebook page, but you must put the hashtag St. Kitts Clean so that we can retrieve it.
So it doesn't have to be a studio quality picture.
No, it can be from your phone, as long as it's a photo that you took.
No.
That you have the rights to. You can't go on the internet take and stolen. And we do encourage not to, don't manipulate it too much. But has to be, reduce, reuse, recycle. Show a picture that shows, keeping St. Kitts clean, keeping St. Kitts green. Yes.
Nice. You mentioned a good point about we have to find ways to make St. Kitts unique. And I think this speaks well for tourism. We are improving, we are expanding our product. I have people taking advantage of this expansion in terms of emerging with new, unique business ideas. I know that there's some young men who operate, who run this. I'm not sure what they call some scooter type things.
Segway.
Yes, segways. So are more people coming on board with unique ways to take advantage of what's happening in our tourism industry?
One thing about tourism is that it is a easy doorway in when it comes to small businesses. We encourage small businesses to come in and do what you can to make that money. And yes, the Segway, just to go to the bigger ones, the Zipline, there is Itar Creations, who all he sells are, vegan food, and you'd be surprised at how popular he is. So food is another area where you can go into. Wellness is another area. And there's a lot of people who have stressful jobs in the US, Europe, wherever it is, and they're looking for that getaway. What we say that if you have the idea, come on in. So enhancing the tourism product is extremely important. And I think one of the reasons why we have a high spend right now is that we do have a lot for people to do. The demand is there, but we do have the service and the product to meet that demand. We are going further. We are enhancing what we have now. For example, Black Rocks. We now have kitchen style stalls, about 5 of them that have been built. A barbecue pit. We have a nice bar. The lookout point now. 2 viewing areas that will be installed sometime next year. So also enhancing what we have, but then people now must look, because I can't tell you what idea to come up with and so forth, but people now must look to come in now and see if they can take advantage of that. We are also going to enhance Timothy Hill, the lookout point there. Right now, it needs some work, but that again is on the books for next year. Look at the Figure Bay Strip, look at what we've done there. The roundabouts, the bathrooms, and there's another level to that now. We're going to make sure that there's a boardwalk to go up. So Minister Grant is very big on people coming up with unique ideas, because the only way we're going to get more money is for more people to come to the business and create their own opportunities, and the door is wide open for that when it comes to tourism in St. Kitts.
Yeah, just to add to that too, and I think Shirley could talk a little more about our community outreach initiatives, our community tourism initiatives, because I think that is one of the reasons why we have decided to venture into the whole area of community tourism, because this is an opportunity for communities, persons within communities, to get actively involved in tourism and to feel the benefits of tourism. I don't know if many persons know that we have listed well over 100 sites of historical importance in the Federation. As a matter of fact, St. Kitts is known, that is one of our strong points when it comes to history and culture. That is what we have to sell the most. And so we want to exploit the benefits of tourism by going into the communities and getting them actively involved, because most of these sites are hidden. Well, some we know of, but there are many others that are within communities. And what we are saying is that you don't necessarily have to come to Bastille to work, or in any of the hotels or tourism plant and so that is located in town. There are so many in the rural areas that we want persons from those community to really look at and to see how they can renovate, where they can renovate and build some business surrounding, some kind of tour surrounding whatever site, whatever historical site that may exist in that particular area. And each of these sites have a history and they have a story. And I think many of our visitors, when they come, they want to hear the stories. They want to know about Queenie's Well and what went on down there and whatnot and so on. So there's the Mansion Ball and all those kind of things. The actors from St. Peter's. There's stories around a lot of these characters and so on. And so those are the things that visitors want to hear about. And so we want to go into those communities and to kind of encourage them to get on board and to do some things that can help to not only expand the tourism plan, but at the same time help them in making a living at the same time.
Well, Charlene,
He basically took it all. But as community tourism officer, we basically have to go out and encourage these communities to develop some sort of pride and appreciation for, as Alistair said, most of these historic sites are in the countryside. But most of us believe that tourism only lives within the areas where the cruise ship comes in, right, and where our main businesses are. But we need to change the direction on that, because community tourism is about the whole of St. Kitts. Natural and historic environments out in the communities. We need to encourage them to create some sort of community tourism related business, as Mr. Williams just identified. And so we have a few workshops that is geared towards community tourism, where we are going to start with the persons who are actually in charge of groups, community groups. So it's more like train the trainer. We start with the heads and then we take it out into the communities to begin with. We have one that should have been this month, but it has been postponed to January. Train the Trainer workshop, where we have colleagues from Jamaica. We've now developed a partnership with Jamaica TPDCO, who will come and assist us in training our community groups in community tourism, as Jamaica is one of the leading countries in the Caribbean who promotes community tourism.
And if I may, sorry to interrupt you, but you were talking about opportunities for young people. Entertainment is an opportunity, an area. What we find is that, well, what happening right now is that most of our tourists come from the US. And the second biggest market is the Caribbean. And Caribbean people travel for events. They'll travel for a sporting event, they'll travel for a concert. They're quicker to get on a plane and come to St. Kitts just for a weekend of partying than, to go that far. So what we find now that as we kind of start our Caribbean marketing plan is that we're going to start promoting some of the fetes that we have here. For example, in December, especially the big ones. Inception Fete is one of them. The Cooler Fete, I think Charlie knows all of them, I can't quite remember. But, also Tropics and so forth. We find now that people, especially those with a little money to spend, those who have not ready to settle down, those who want to party, they will quick come to St. Kitts for a weekend, for a couple of days, and party here. And so those are opportunities for our promoters, for our artists, put on more events. Yeah, I'm asking, not that I want to party, but the economy will do well, and there's opportunity to bring in even more tourists if we put on events that have a high standard.
Nice. I'd just like to remind the audience out there that you can be a part of the conversation. Any suggestions, questions for our guests, you can pick up the phone and call us here at ZIZ. Now, you guys' jobs will be getting a whole lot harder, I think, starting next year with the coming on board of a second cruise spear. You guys have to step up the marketing, the promotions, the events. What are you guys doing to prepare yourselves as the authority and as well as the stakeholders for this boom that is expected to come with the addition of a second cruise spear, which if I'm not mistaken, will be able to accommodate 2 Oasis class vessels. So how are you guys planning for this?
Well, clearly we're already in the boom, I don't know, we've been in the boom for most of 2018. We're going to continue what we've been doing. I mean, one of the main thing again is customer service. I mean, that is, pretty much most of it. If we can provide people with experiences that are worth remembering, believe me, more will come. So we'll continue doing that. Of course, we'll continue to enhance the product, fix up areas that need to be fixed up and so forth. Also, we have some new hotels coming in. The Ritz-Carlton is going to start construction. Six Sense going to start construction. We have some other hotels in the countryside that are coming along. So we are going to continue what we've been doing to get it, because, as I said, this has been a plan that has been ongoing now for the past 2 to 3 years to get the Federation up to par and ready for that boom. And for most of it, for the better part of it, we are ready.
Great, that's great to hear. Another important aspect of our tourism product here, another big event that draws crowds, is our St. Kitts Music Festival. I don't know if it's too early for us to talk about St. Kitts Music Festival. Is it too early, Mr. Williams, for us to talk about Music Festival?
It might be a bit early, but well, just to say that we're hoping that as we did last year, we are hoping that we can release some names as early as perhaps next month.
Okay, Alice, let's just pause for calls. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, good day, welcome to Working For You. Hello?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Brown here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
And good afternoon to the listening public home and abroad. You are asking for ideas. I have been giving you guys this idea for many, many years now. A St. Kitts Zoo with all local animals bred and born and feeding and growing right here in St. Kitts. Nevis have a lot of donkeys up there on the loose. We could have some of them. We could have some horse. We could have some local fowls, some monkeys, some goats, some sheep, and all sorts of things. And here, how we're going to fund that. Just like how we have some of the local businesses adopt roundabouts, we could have some of these local businesses, some of the schools, and even some of the government ministries be responsible for a certain amount of animals in that zoo. It's going to create a lot of employment for folks, and it's going to bring a lot of foreign and local and international income to the Federation. No foreign animals, just strictly St. Nevis animals in that zoo. We have enough land. We could point out a land somewhere, and we could fix it up just as nice as how we do the Heroes Car, and we could have the taxi men and women, and all others. We could have schools and all other organizations come there to visit. You pay a little thing to come in, just like up Bringston Hill, and you get your little tour and thing, and you tip the little people who doing the little tours and so. Another idea. We are talking consistently about tourism, hotel, golf course. What about agriculture? Mixing agriculture, sport, culture, and performing art. So you're selling a complete package to them, not just tourism. So guys, this is something that we are to look into and address. Another thing is we got to start looking at some more museums. We have a lot of abandoned buildings that have a lot of history. We could start turning some of them into some museums, and we could have foreign income again, and attraction and some additional things for our guests when they come here. I'm done, guys.
All right, thank you very much, caller. The caller made some very, very interesting points. Anyone of you would like to respond?
But yeah, well, the local zoo is, I think that's a good idea in that, whenever our tourists come on the island, what they ask for? Monkeys. They want to see the local. Sometimes they don't really want to see them too much on people, but they want to be able to pet them and so forth. It's an idea worth exploring. I think it needs to be hashed out a bit more and conceptualized a bit more. But I definitely would not shoot that down. Again, tourism is an industry where if you have an idea, and once you do your research and you plan it out properly, yes, it will. We will not shut you out. I think with the agriculture and the heritage and the culture, all of those are already aspects of tourism. Tourism encompasses pretty much all of us, and agritourism and so forth. I mentioned Itar Creation, and there are others like him who farm, and then what they farm is what they cook and sell to their customers. So already some of it is already ongoing. Abandoned buildings. I think Alistair mentioned that if you go and drive and you will see all of these plantations and mills and so forth, they're just there and have not been, pretty much being left alone. Yes, we are looking out for people to come out with these ideas, and I think they support there, but I'll let Alistair touch on that more because he might be more familiar on that.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to touch on is the whole idea of agriculture and tourism, and we've recognized for years that agriculture and tourism walk hand in hand, and that is why.
Okay, 1 second, Alistair. We have another caller. Caller, good day. Welcome to Working For You. Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams.
Yes, he can hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Alistair.
Yes.
Yes. We talking about ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You all better go down Market Street and fix back the old name down there. The hall down there. See?
Yes.
You all got to better go down there and fix back the MIS hall. You understand? And next thing need to be happening. For why see yesterday during the cruise ship yesterday in down at the port, the toilet next to College Street got is a shame. That tree down there need to cut. A camera need to tap somewhere down there for all them tuto down there behind a wet room. What's wrong with think it's young people them? We going crazy? Don't we see tourism in the blood butter I think it? And let's try, come on, man. I gotta correct these things. And I want to hear me. You got security down there walking and people can't even identify a security. These people should be in uniform. And now you're talking about tourism and looking ideas. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Well, that caller seemed quite passionate about keeping our facilities, our spaces clean and in a manner that's acceptable for not only our guests but also our local people as well. But is this a concern for the ministry? We have an issue with keeping these public facilities in areas of heavy tourist traffic clean. Is this an issue at the department?
Well, it is a challenge. Of course, we do our part in meeting with our partners. The Ministry of Health is one of those partners who are responsible, of course, for some of the cleaning, parks and beaches, and we keep constant dialogues and meetings to deal with those issues. We also, of course, encourage, because we're not everywhere, we don't see anything. We may miss here and there. Give us a call, because we do have a standards department who's responsible for going out there and making sure that the place is up to standard. They may not see it all, but you are more than invited, and I'll give you the number. You give us a call, 465-4040, and if you see an issue, if you see an area that tourists are there, and even if you see something suspicious, this is important, call us. Tourism is all of us. We are all working together for this. And so it's just not St. Kitts Tourism Authority or the Ministry of Tourism. It's all of us working to ensure that things are up to standard and that our guests have a wonderful time in St. Kitts.
And I think that's a very good point, is that we each and every one of us have a small thing we can do. We can see someone litter, ask them not to, or we can even pick it up ourselves.
Exactly.
So we can all play our role in keeping St. Kitts and Nevis beautiful for our guests.
But I don't want to say I'm ignoring the caller. I want to encourage the caller who wants to call that number and let us look into it and see how we can fix it.
1 second. Hello, caller. Working for you. We seem to have lost that caller.
Yes.
Hello, caller.
Mr. William, me again, I want to ask a young fella there, see? If he live in New York and every morning 6 o'clock he reach and Sir Robert Airport and go back up at 6 o'clock time. People shouldn't be telling I nothing to do I work. The middle management in this country, in every institution, they're playing around with this country. Have a good day.
Thanks again, caller. So back to our discussion. As I said, that caller seems quite passionate about keeping our country clean and beautiful for everyone to enjoy. So let's get back to the discussion. Another initiative that the Tourism Authority promotes and pushes is Restaurant Week. How does this fall in line with the mission of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority and promoting tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis?
I think before the last call, I think I was getting to that, and to say that Restaurant Week actually was developed to help to fuse that relationship between tourism and agriculture. And as you know, this year would have been our 4th annual Restaurant Week, and the whole objective is to be able to connect local producers with
One second,
Hello,
we have a caller. Good afternoon, caller. Working for you.
You got a water underneath the bridge there in Basti that they want to get the weed over.
Can you be a bit more specific, please?
The water underneath the bridge, the Incali Street got,
Oh,
the water they need to let go.
okay.
And the toilet, the said toilet the man talk about.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. So we have more callers who are speaking about very passionate about the environment and
And we welcome that. We're not going to shy away from, you know, people pointing out issues that need to be fixed. Because, again, you know, they themselves are the...
Another caller. Hello, welcome caller.
Yes, guys, Carl Brown here again.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Guys, I'm looking at another thing. The two national heroes park. When are you guys are going to open them up for our visiting friends? Because the heroes park, they look very beautiful. Those are places that lots of tourists like to go and sit and have a drink, have a discussion, have a little tour, and so. And the other thing is, we need to start seriously, I keep selling this idea many years, of Hall of Fame for the hard work that our people have done in whatever field. Those are areas and places tourists like to go to get a little history of the country and get some updates on people that they read about and they see on the internet and that sort of thing, and people who they might have met many years ago. So Hall of Fame is good for our people, and these places, National Heroes Park, need to be opened up to the guests. You have people there to go around and give them a tour. They pay something, and we get our National Heroes Park marketed out there. These will be requested places when they get here on the ship, the plane, the boat, whatever they come on, and whatever occasion they come for. I want to go to the Heroes Park. I want to go to the museum. I want to go to the Hall of Fame. Not just the beach, hotel, and the rainforest and things. We got to widen the market for them. Because we competition is very stiff, you know. So we got to stay 20 steps all over our competition. Gone, guys.
No, thanks again, caller. That's a very important point that he made. Opening up our National Heroes Park is a very beautiful park. We have the statues, the bust of our 5 national heroes. I think this is something that visitors to our shows would love to learn about. So has that come up for any discussion from the authority?
It hasn't, at least it hasn't reached us. It's not an area that we manage, at least not yet. And I'm not sure if they've completed the construction all the way. I think I see some work still being done. But I think really the plan is to open it up to the general public and of course to our guests eventually.
Okay. Thank you. I think, Alistair, you were making some point about restaurant.
Right. I was saying that the activities of restaurant, we directly connect small farmers with potential customers, our hotels, restaurants, and retailers. And we've collected some data recently, and we found that at least 20% of the participants reported at least a 10% increase in business. The intention of the program is...
Once again, hello, good afternoon, working for you.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm glad that a couple of persons raised some issue about the waterfront there, the bathroom facilities and so forth. Now, I realize that a hotel is going to be open soon, but with all the lot of dirty water settling there and the surroundings there ain't good. That you are supposed to work with the health department, but to me, like I don't condemn environmental health because I don't believe they're working. But it look like the government afraid of them. That place they want to clean up and rearrange. We know it's got to come down there, but it look real nasty. But I know what want to be done to it, you know, may not say nothing on there. But it can cost some money, but I know what need to be done to it. But on the other hand, these toilets that you all have around the shoreline there by the ferry and bus terminals, those toilets are not properly done. They're not properly kept and so forth. A lot of faults with them and they don't get no maintenance as far as I see. So if you want to rush in there, bust a big leak, you can't go in there, you got to go on the best and I mean, and something wrong because if they say people disposing outside the toilet, you gotta be there and walking at the lockup or something. And lastly, up there by the Pelican Mall, I am disgusted if I got to go in there anytime because you got two little sickly toilet in there, and even the door system they make up so stupid. You go abroad, you see them, nobody got no long door like that. They got some short doors. In case if anything happens to anybody, you could see them. That's one. And in there, they don't sanitize in the afternoon. You can tell me you can got 3-4 ships in. Some of them, well, even one ship, you can got 500 or more people coming off a ship. And some of them happen to be up in the place alignment. And the amount of people I see go there to the toilet. But then in there smell bad. They clean it all the morning and then that's it until maybe dark in the afternoon. Listen to me, I don't want to prolong. But I had reason to spend quite some time by a couple of airports in the US and in Britain. And the number of times they see them clean because thousands of people passing through there daily. It's the same thing when cruise ships in. Even normally when people in town on the cruise ship in, people use up there quite a lot. So whoever in charge, they ain't doing no work. And the people them who doing the work may know what they tell them. But it look as if it's the worker them calling the tune. Something needs to be done, and you're talking about making tourists happy. When I could hear, you see how I could tell you about these toilets I see in other places. So I believe they complain because in there the smell, before you reach by the urinal them, you could smell the scent. In there want cleaning every hour when you got them cruise ships in. Does whoever's in charge, I need to get our work done. And don't somebody telling you about down the gut there and as if you don't understand what the man's saying. Don't duck nobody. These are real facts that people seen because the fellow there, he always around look and checking and calling in about things this year, contrary to what is supposed to be especially around the health department. But then they don't do no work. Anyway, have a good day. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like most of the people.
Yes.
You have another caller? Good afternoon.
Yes, folks. Charles Brown here again. Quick tip. In Nevis, when you come off Nevis Pier, you go to the toilet. They have ladies sitting there, and you have to pay $1 to go in and use the toilet. And the toilet don't have those problems that we are having in St. Kitts. And for the toilets in the mall and down the terminal, and so the government is right now in reshaping those toilets and putting in some new modern toilets and things and facilities. If you check down at the terminal, you see some new doors on. You go in there, you will see the condition is much better. And even up at the mall, they have a cleaning team there on a daily basis, which is supervised by someone, and we are getting better performance there in the mall from those toilets. The government is working on those things, but we can work with the dollar thing. A lady sits there in Nevis, and soon as you reach, you have to give her $1, you go in, you use the toilet, and every now and again she go in and check, and those toilets are kept clean all day into the night. I go on, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll allow our panelists to respond to some of these concerns, and then we'll also have them wrap up.
Okay, well, with the toilets and the bathroom facilities at the ferry terminal, also in the Pelican Mall, those areas are scheduled for enhancement. As you can see, as I told you earlier, we did start in some areas, the Fitty Bay Strip, the Black Rocks area, and as I mentioned, Timothy Hill, Lookout Point, and the beaches. We've been doing some work. So we do ask for some patience. Plans are actually, the PS, that is Mrs. Caroline Henry Morton, discussions are underway, and those areas will be enhanced and fixed up. Everything can be done one time, but we will, I can tell you now, we will get to that.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add, Charlie? To wrap up the show.
Also, before that, just to get back to the bathroom thing, when we do fix up the bathrooms, again, I need to remind the general public that we are tourism, and that please, if you're going to use the bathroom, use them properly. I don't know if, well, I'm going to say something, I'm going to put that back. But, part of the problem is that our own people will go in and misuse the facilities. And when you do that, then you make it harder for, for us to come back and fix it up and so forth. So, I do call for people to be responsible and to use them properly, because they will be fixed. But, the issue is that people go in and they vandalize, and we've had toilets stolen. If those things are being, it's hard to keep them up if people are intentionally going in and, damaging those things. So, but, those things are going to be fixed.
Is there anything from your end?
Adding to what Mr. Ngala said about the condition of the bathrooms down at the ferry terminal, I think that we also need the assistance of the vendors there and the patrons alike to take care of what it is that we have. Many instances I can recall that the ministry would have replaced toilets, and in less than a week we can't find those toilets, and nobody ever sees anything that happens there. So it's not as if the ministry is not trying to ensure that the area is kept clean or that the facility is upgraded, but we also need for them to play a role in caring for the facility as well. In terms of my activities that we would have just had, the tourism product tour with the students, all under the tourism education program, the quiz. I'd very much like to thank the sponsors as well as the stakeholders who assisted us to ensure that these activities were successful. We've had stakeholders from OTI, Dinil Walwyn, Sea Turtle Monitoring Network, Hotel and Tourism Association, amongst a few others, who are regulars in ensuring that our students get to experience the full tourism product.
Alistair, the last word for a quick wrap up.
I just want to say that Tourism Month continues again this afternoon, 4:30. Soca Zumba, Port Zante outside the Arrival Hall. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. Sangria Bar, Village Walk, Food Court in Camps, karaoke competition. You think you can sing? Come out and sing to win fabulous prizes. On Saturday, we collaborate with National Carnival, Sugar Mass 47, for their bar crawl starting at 12 noon. So we're encouraging the public to come out and support that initiative. And of course, next week, the Department of Youth High School Chefs Competition on the 29th November at the Old Boys School on Victoria Road. Come out and support our students as they vie for bragging rights in their chef competition. Remember also our photo contest. All you have to do is to take a photo surrounding the theme: reduce, reuse, recycle, let's work together for a greener future, and hashtag St. Kitts Clean. It's Tourism Awareness Month. We want you to understand that tourism is everyone's business, and if we don't protect it, then we won't be able to reap the rewards and the benefits that tourism has to offer. So we're encouraging all to do your part to make tourism even better in St. Kitts.
And that is the perfect note for us to end today's edition of Working for You. Our guest was Sergio Ngala, Public Relations Manager, Charlene Welcome, Community Tourism Officer, and Mr. Alistair Williams, Executive Director of Events, all from the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. I would like to thank ZIZ and our partner stations, and of course, you, the listening and viewing audience, for staying with us for today's edition of Working for You. Have a good day.
Working for You. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Roy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. station. Working for You is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for You.